Welcome to Hermit Woods, where there's a story in every bottle. You didn't have a glass? We have glasses.
Wait, we're live.
They're live.
Empty glasses.
We're live again.
You'd think you'd be prepared.
Somebody, we are supposed to do the technical side. You're the
I'm
winemaker.
Ken is responsible
You're
for
the
the
winemaker.
glasses.
You're
I'm
responsible
going
for the
for
wine.
this one first off then. Because
All right. Well,
look at the nice big loop on that. How did we make that?
I can't wait to talk about it.
We did that a long time ago.
Long?
Yeah. So
Drinking stuff
before
for
we
a
get
long
into
time.
that, let's say hello to everybody
You're gonna
and
do the preamble, right?
and do the preamble. Yes,
Oh.
we want to welcome everybody. Yeah, good luck with that. We want to welcome everybody once again to our Monday Night Live show. Thank you
Do you
for
want
tuning
the
in.
poppers? Oh, that was.
Thank you for tuning in. If you're joining us for the very first time, thank you, and we'd like to encourage you to subscribe. If you go underneath Ken on YouTube, you'll see an opportunity for YouTube
Underneath
to
me?
describe.
Yep.
And if you're on
Does that
Facebook,
need the
there's a
little-
little bell in the screen where you can push the bell, and that
That'll
will
work.
subscribe you to the Facebook channel. And you will then get notification on YouTube or Facebook that we're going live every time we do, which is every Monday at 5:30.
Monday, 5:30.
And we also go live.
Cheers.
Cheers. There's wine in our glass. Look at that.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers
Cheers
to you
to
all.
everybody at home. Please let us know what you're drinking. That's another rule. If you're
Very
joining us for
important.
the show,
Let us know you're
we
here.
wanna
Let us know what
know
you're drinking.
What you're drinking, yes. Say hello in the comments. Let us know what you're drinking. And if you enjoy what you see today, please like the broadcast and share it amongst your friends so that they can
Flat.
join in the conversation in the future. We'll get there.
Damn.
So I think I've covered everything. Have I
Cover
not?
everything?
So,
I know there was so much distraction going on. It was really hard to know whether
I tried, but you were just like railing right through it. You were just no way.
because I
intending
want to
derail
get
me.
to the show, because I want to get to the story, and I want to start with look at this.
Look at this.
This great board, another great board. We always get to have wonderful food. Thank
thanks,
you, Travis.
And I
Travis.
admit
Cheers
I've
to
already-
Travis.
It dipped in.
It's
I
tough.
know.
little
Yeah,
bit.
I'm
Travis
looking a
should
little
learn.
anemic today
Yeah.
because
It
Ken.
did look a little better when it first
I
showed
admit
up.
I did have a pickle.
Maybe we should just
And
talk to
I'm not-
Travis, because if Travis brings it up 10 minutes before we start, it's going to be gone. He should wait and
Well, 'cause it's
not
also
bring
good.
it
Bring it in.
until
Yeah.
We
a
got
moment before we have to
You
go
know,
live.
people who come into the winery get this sort of thing.
Yeah, every time.
This is our charcuterie board. It's really
It's
we have
wonderful.
meats from Vermont, cheese from New Hampshire and Vermont. We have these wonderful little pickles and olives. Those, of course, are not from Vermont or New Hampshire. Those olives are probably from Italy. We have some wonderful sauces made at the Waz factory.
It was.
Say
yeah.
factory.
And
Waz
I love
kitchen up in Bethlehem, Maine.
Mhm.
my favorite thing on the board this time is this little pile.
What is that?
That is, it starts as the base of the Vermont farmstead goat cheese, but
Yeah.
we take the plain goat cheese and then mix in a bunch of things. So it's got cranberries,
So they're making
apples,
their own
maybe
cheese,
walnuts,
like
and some
spread?
lemon.
This is a chef
Like
creation.
yeah, like those. You can get this sort of thing at the store. It's already goat cheese with stuff
You
in it.
can't get this.
It's sort of a
at the store.
spread.
spreadable
Yeah,
one,
this
but
is-
nothing like not quite this elaborate, I think. And this has been on the prefix menu for the Thursday night shows. It's what's
that's
spread on
right.
the sweet
What's on the
potato
sweet
crostini. That's my favorite course of that.
Wow, that's good.
Really?
Maybe just because it's just the goat cheese. I just love the goat cheese.
You just love goat
Um,
cheese.
yeah.
So what are we
But-
doing here today? Now that we've done
Oh,
talking
gosh.
about all this wonderful food,
Well,
Food and wine.
I opened up
it's always about the wine.
a bottle of what I was hoping was going to be bubbly,
Oh, not even a touch of bubble.
but not even a touch of bubbles.
Not even a
It's a
touch.
total
What
fail.
happened?
So that's not
But-
why we're here today. I'm glad you shared that, and we're going to get into what that's about and why it's not bubbly.
You want to talk about this one?
That is why we're here
And
today.
all the people's names on the back of that?
Yeah. So
Is that what
We
the
are here today to celebrate 10 years since we conducted our Kickstarter
I thought a week
campaign.
went fast. We're here every Monday drinking together. And
Well, I
that
know,
seems to go
it's-
really fast. But 10 years.
10 years since Kickstarter. We missed the Hermit Woods 10-year anniversary.
We completely missed
We completely missed it.
What?
It happened in
it.
2021.
was a tough year, 2021.
Yeah, we were coming out of the pandemic. We were growing so much. We opened the
Right.
loft.
Wow.
We just didn't. It just sort of happened.
Just went
and
away.
We
we
can
didn't-
still we
We
can
could
do a
celebrate like the
retroactive.
6-month anniversary of the 10-year
Sure.
anniversary.
We'll
We
do
can celebrate
something.
whatever we want. I celebrate every night with a glass of something.
Yes.
I was so disappointed. I mentioned having a martini last night when we left after moving a warehouse. and
You
working.
stoked me.
And I'm like, I'm going to stop and get some gin. Well, I stopped at the liquor store at 5:04.
They close
They're
at 5.
They
closed?
close at 5 on
Aw.
Sunday.
Oh, you're kidding.
Nope.
You
I
don't.
got
You
there
don't
in
always.
time.
You don't just have gin at your house. I feel like that's just a staple. That
No, he drinks gin in his
I-
house, which
when-
is why
you know-
he doesn't
you know those
have gin in
nice
his
big
house.
bottles of gin, they just sort of disappear.
But so we missed the Hermit Woods 10-year anniversary, but we did catch this one. So 10-year anniversary of our Kickstarter campaign back
So let's
in
tell what-
2013.
let's just let's tell everybody what that's about. So if you're here for the first time, learning about our Kickstarter campaign, shame on you, because you should be coming to our Monday or Saturday show.
Did
where
you
I
just
tell
say
the
shame
whole
on you?
history.
Is that what you just
I
did?
did. Yeah, I know it's terrible.
No, not shame on you.
Not shame on you.
We're sorry that you've missed this wonderful
I know.
presentation.
Stop for saying
There are so
shame
many
on you.
opportunities for you to learn more about Hermit Woods coming up.
I want
every
you to
Saturday.
come to my 11:30 Saturday presentation where I tell the whole history. I know you'll enjoy it, so please sign up. If you're a club member, you just get to come for free. You don't need to
Complimentary.
pay. Complimentary. Anyway, I share this story at that presentation.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. Have you been? You have. Good.
I have.
Have you been?
I don't know if I've sat through the whole
Oh.
thing start to
Oh.
finish.
I haven't sat through the whole thing.
Oh.
I've definitely caught most of it.
All right, you guys have to put that on your agenda.
Mhm.
Shame on me.
Shame on you. So anyway,
Mhm.
when we moved to this building, we bought this building in 2013 because we really needed to get out of my house. We filled the basement up with so much wine, we couldn't get to our laundry machine. The guests were piling out the door because we didn't have enough room in my master bedroom where our tasting room was. So we bought this building as a way to grow the winery. And when we did, we convinced the bank and Belknap County Economic Development
Mhm.
to give us a bunch of money very generously. They did. We also zapped all of our savings. And by the time it
And
was
then
all
took-
said and done, we
We were
could not finish the product. We were the
Well, we
tasting
made
room.
we made the whole wine production area.
But the
You and
tasting room
Chuck were
was
down
not
there
done.
spray painting late. We were taking care of moving things
We were
over.
taking care of the wine production. We
Right, we
got
took
that
care of the
done
well,
right out of the
that's-
gate.
That's the important
It's the
part.
most
Well, it was
important
fall.
thing.
I remember when the floor down in the wine production area had a carpet on it beforehand.
Oh my God, what a
And they
mess.
pulled up that carpet and there was just glue marks over
They
this
pulled
cement
up the
floor.
carpet. We
pulled up the carpet. Whatever happened. So we were left with this floor, and we needed to treat it so that we could roll things on it and mop it and clean it. So we hired this guy to come and power sand it with a huge, massive. He had a separate generator, and power supply. And we were on a deadline because crab apples were coming ripe. And that was going to initiate. This is before strawberry rhubarb. This was before Lake House White at any scale. So this was kind of like the first big production item for the season. And we had to have that space ready. We bought those big rectangular tanks, the Titans, and had it all set. And we didn't know when the Bilbo crab apples were going to come ripe, but this guy had to get the floor done. And he worked through the night one night to get it done, because the next day we were bringing in, bins and bins of crab apples to make wine out of.
He was not a happy man.
No, he was not very happy.
Not happy at
But
all.
he did it.
But we got the floor done.
But
and we got in
that
there. But
is not why we started the Kickstarter campaign.
no, not at all. Well,
It's how we spent some of the money.
we burnt all our money.
We
We
spent all the money.
made it all set, and then it's like, well, where are we going to taste the wine?
So has anybody heard of
Right.
Kickstarter or crowdfunding? Because that's what we did. We decided to go to a crowdfunding website, Kickstarter, and Kickstarter is a tool by which you can raise funds from your friends, family, and fans of your business. And we started a campaign. And to start that campaign off, we created a video that told the story of the founding partners. And I'm hoping that we can share that video with you right now.
I
We're
think
going
I
to
can
go
do it.
share
Which
screen
is just like what you do on your
I'm going to share my screen
Saturday
here.
presentations, don't you?
and Chrome tab.
There it is.
We'll see if this works.
Hit share.
No,
And-
double click the video.
No?
Yeah, there you go. Double click the video.
There we
Double
go.
clicking. How do I make it big?
See what happens.
Double click the
Our
video.
story begins with three.
Double click. Yeah, there you go. Now you're
It
going to
begins
with
switch
three
tabs. You
guys
just
in
switch
pursuit
tabs,
of
so
their
I
life's
don't think
passions.
anybody can see it.
A pilot,
So remove it.
Oh, yeah.
geologist,
Mm.
Technical.
We'll start
Get
the video
technical,
over.
folks.
Off screen.
Chuck
Here we go.
Lawrence.
Here's-
Don't worry,
here's
we'll
the
make it happen.
and me,
tab.
Bob Manley.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Break.
There we
I'm gonna
go.
throw
Our
mine.
lives were about to
Here we go.
Now
ways
start
we
over.
could never have
Yep.
predicted.
Starting it over.
When we,
Here you go, folks.
Then do
our
this.
story begins
There we
with
go.
three guys in pursuit of their life's
Let us know if you can
passions.
see that.
A pilot, geologist,
Can you go back to
and a
screen?
photographer. Chuck Lawrence,
Yeah.
Ken Hardcastle,
Oh, good.
and me, Bob Manley.
See if go back to the
We didn't know it yet, but our lives were about to change in ways we could never have predicted.
Is it on?
When we were not flying,
See the comment?
looking at rocks, or through a lens, you could find us climbing a mountain or tearing down the other side
Yes.
on our bikes, a passion we
Great.
all shared.
I was worried if I switched
We
away from
became
the
fast
tab
friends.
because it's sharing the tab.
Do they hear us now?
We shared our stories, discovered what made each other tick, and began thinking about our future. Life was good,
Hello.
but it was soon going to get much better. This is where wine comes in. As is often the case, drinking was an important part of the development of our friendship, and I don't mean the way it was in our first year of college.
That was
We wanted to learn everything there was to know about wine. How it was made, its origins, ingredients,
One line in
place
there.
in our culture.
Really?
Ken had been making beer and wine for years, and Chuck and I wanted to learn.
Back paragraph.
Before we knew it, we were traveling to Boston to buy grapes, planting our own vineyard, and building a winery. The writing was on the wall. It was a slippery slope we were on. We either had to get off, get arrested, or get licensed. Still in pursuit of life's passions, only this time one we shared. Hermit Woods Winery was born. We would make a few bottles of wine, enjoy our time together, and explore our new passion. Our expectations were small. After all, we were in New Hampshire, not California. Then we met you, our customers. You shared our passion and loved our wine, and together we have grown our business. We are now at a crossroads.
Our business has grown
Yeah,
beyond the
absolutely.
capacity of our current location, and our excitement and enthusiasm is at an all-time high. So we bought a building in Meredith, the future home of Hermit Woods Winery. As with before, we can't make this happen without you.
Hi, I'm Chuck Lawrence.
And I'm Ken Hardcastle. And I'm Bob Manley. And we're Hermit Woods Winery. And we've just had a lot of fun making this video today.
But in all seriousness, we've worked really hard over the last 3 years building this business.
And now we're poised to take it to the next level. And we can't do it without you. Any support you can offer us would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was fun. We used to have people over to
Here's.
Bob
There it
and
All right, we're back.
pull everything around.
We're back. Hope everyone can see us again. Hope everyone can could hear that fine and see it fine, and we're
I
back.
wonder if anybody out there in the audience came to the original winery location at your
Oh yeah,
house
let us know if anyone was out there at Sanborn.
at the back at that time. But it was definitely an early phase. We were just
It was part-time business. We were
Wild.
basically
Trying to
open on
figure it out.
weekends and summer and fall only, closed during the winter. We weren't open on most weekdays. And of course, the master bedroom became smaller and smaller as we became more and more popular.
Well,
So-
we talked about Kickstarter, but we haven't actually talked about this.
No, so,
We're getting
so
there,
that's the
we're getting
next thing. So,
That's the next
So we
thing.
made that video to promote the Kickstarter, and
and the way Kickstarter works is if you contribute at different levels, you get rewards. And one of the rewards for contributing, and I don't remember what the dollar amount was, but people who contribute a certain dollar amount were given the ability to have their name put on this label. So there's, I think 30 people.
Names?
There are 30 names on this label, and those are 30 people who contributed a certain dollar amount to our campaign so that they could have their name on our Kickstarter wine. And this wine has been aging in our cellar for 10 years, because this is our 10-year anniversary of the Kickstarter campaign. And by the way, that campaign, we asked to raise $28,900 or something
Well,
like
this
that.
is the way this works too with Kickstarter. They're not all like this, these crowdfunding. In Kickstarter, if you set a goal of, let's say, $28,000 and you raise $27,999,
You don't get a dime.
you don't get any of it. So people would pledge, they'll say, I'll pledge $100 toward your campaign. And if you make your goal, then that $100 is actually charged. And so I remember
Down to the
right
hour.
on up to the very last minute thinking, are we going to make it? Are we
We
going
did
to
not
make
know.
it? Are we going to make it?
We were down to the last hour.
very
And
exciting.
we were still a few $1,000s away. And you know who came through for us?
There were a few people that came through.
Well,
And-
the big one, which was a total surprise to all of us, is Merrill
Todd.
Wild Blueberries. Todd Merrill contributed at the 11th hour $2,500 to our campaign, and we can't thank him enough because his contribution put us over the top for that.
And you know what he got to do? When you went at that level, of which there were a couple,
He got his own wine, right?
you got to put the name of the wine. So he created, and we created a wine that he labeled Wild Blue.
That's right. Oh, that's right. And
And now we have a
Wild
new one
Blue.
called Wild
We got to
Blue.
let him know that. We might
Yeah,
not know
yeah.
that.
I think I sent him some.
Yeah, but does he know that he named his wine Wild Blue? He
I'm
might have
sure he
some-
does.
That's interesting. So,
But I totally forgot that when we were coming up with the name called Wild Blue for this new carbonated one.
yeah.
Maybe it was just in my subconscious.
So because this is a celebration of this, we're going to release this wine. We saved 10 cases for the 10-year anniversary
We did.
of the Kickstarter
We've
wine.
been
Moving
moving
that 10
cases.
cases all over
We
creation.
just moved them again this weekend. We
Yes.
just moved to a new warehouse. Bob and I are worn out from working nonstop for the last 4 days.
You worked a lot harder than I did. I just had the
And-
tail end of the shift.
We got it done. We're in a new warehouse and we moved all that wine over there. And we brought a few of the cases in so that we could enjoy this and so that we could put them on sale. It's a library wine that we can sell. And we could reach out to the people on that label,
Well,
maybe.
We've already done that. I've
You've already
put a
done that.
notice out on about the show. If your name is on this label, you are welcome to come into the winery, and we will give you a gift certificate that is equal in value to the cost of this bottle. And that gift certificate is only exchangeable for this bottle. If you
So that's
follow
the
me.
legal way of doing it.
Well, that is the legal way. They have to
How about
purchase
that?
the bottle, but we're going to give them a gift certificate in the amount necessary to purchase the bottle. It creates a
Nice.
purchase, and the wine is sold to the
And
customer.
so the state gets their,
They get their taxes, absolutely.
Wonderful.
So if you're out there and you have your name on here and you know who you are, and if you don't, you'll have to come in because these
Come in
bottles
and
are on the
check.
shelf,
Yeah.
and you have to check to see if your name is on there because it is.
Do you know, Bob,
It was fun to
off the
read
top of
through
your
it.
head, I might have missed this. I was responding to a question in the audience, but do you remember how many different individuals
Yes.
donated? Did
Yeah,
you say that? Did I
the
miss it?
total. No, I didn't say it. the total number of donations that came in for the entire campaign, not just the Three Honey gift, was 170.
170 individuals.
And their names, every one of them,
Yep.
is on a poster
Yes,
to the
I've seen that
left of
downstairs.
our
Yep.
door downstairs.
Yep.
All of the contributors to our campaign got
And
their
there
name.
are a number of names on the barrels back there.
Well, soon to be on the barrels. You have them in your winemaking area somewhere.
I do?
downstairs, Yes.
Uh-oh.
We have to,
I do?
when we rebuilt the upstairs, we
Mhm.
moved the barrels.
Why would I have placards that
I know,
deal
you-
with marketing?
They're tucked in a
things?
drawer somewhere.
You put them in a
Somewhere
drawer or
where we
something.
wouldn't forget where they were.
Yeah. Well,
It's
we'll
one of
find
those.
them and put them up there.
Was that a different level reward?
Kurt has them?
Was getting the barrels?
No, you have them. I remember. You have them downstairs.
Wow.
I know you
All
do.
right.
Was that a different level? So getting your name on a barrel?
That was a different
a
level.
different
Yep.
level
Yep.
from here?
Yep. There were, I don't know, there were some levels got you a hat and a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Some levels got your name, got to name a bottle of wine, like
Like Todd.
Todd. And
Yeah,
some
we've got,
levels were got
looks
on,
like-
on the label.
And a lot of people,
Looks
we
like
had
29
bags and
people.
Stuff like that. And a lot of people never
maybe.
picked up their gift.
It wasn't
because
about the reward.
It wasn't about that. I
No.
mean, we've supported Kickstarter things of various types, and it's not about the item. It's about supporting a really
Cool project.
cool idea or a project. That's how crowdfunding works. It's really a great process, and it's progressed since 2012. We were doing this in the late fall. We had like 30 days, right, or 40 days. I forget how long a campaign, but I know it ended right about the end of calendar year
30 days. It was
2012,
a
or
1
the
month.
beginning of January
You got to
of
decide.
2013.
You got to decide how long the campaign was for. You could have done 30 days. You could have done 6 weeks. You could have done 2 months. The prevailing wisdom at the time was to do a 30-day.
Yeah, you
campaign.
research this, just like, selling on eBay or whatever it is. You find out what is the optimal thing to do. Make the bid end on a Sunday evening or something.
And it was
You know.
suggested that getting it done and over with quickly so that people knew what their commitment was and what they were going to be giving to the campaign.
I remember you working very, very hard.
It was the hardest working month I think I've ever had. I dedicated every waking moment
You're just like,
from morning till night.
Ken, I'm
plugging
just
away.
sending out notices. I'm responding to questions. I'm just doing this over and over and over. And what was interesting about the campaign, it's the only one I've ever done, was it rallied forth at the beginning. Money was pouring in. People were doing this. We got to like 14,000 within a week. It was like, oh, this is great. And then it just flatlined for a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And we were reaching out deeper, calling in favors from people, trying to, thank you very much. Is there any chance you know somebody that might be interested in supporting this? We wanted to go to the next derivative and move it forward. It was, and like you said, it was down to the last few minutes.
Few minutes.
Of the
Yeah.
campaign.
We were all
We
sitting
did
at your
it.
house. Remember, we met at your house at the end of the campaign.
Oh yeah, we had like a bottle of
Little dinner.
champagne or something
Yeah.
and dinner,
Oh,
and
that
we were
sounds wonderful.
watching down the, and we cleared the 28,000 whatever target with 20 minutes to spare or an hour to spare or whatever it was when things came through.
That was Todd Merrill.
And what was really interesting is right afterwards we got emails from various people saying, well, if it did make it, I was right there to come in. I was
Ready
going
to
to put
help.
another 500 in. I was
Aw,
going to put $50
That's
in. Or
wonderful.
whatever it was. It was so great to see the support.
It is
of
interesting
everybody.
seeing, like, when I look at those, I click on various, Kickstarters or GoFundMe campaigns, and it's so interesting sort of seeing the people that come out of places you wouldn't expect.
Mhm.
Like I've both wonderfully and sadly been the recipient of a GoFundMe at points with stuff that happened with my family, but it was interesting seeing, it's like the grandma of someone I went to high school with
Mhm.
donates $100. And it's just so wonderful that people, they just see something that they're interested in or just know that it means a lot to someone that they're friends with and are happy to give a little
It's
bit.
a great mechanism.
And even just that
because-
little bit, when you have that many people and it sort of spreads around on social media and things, even just, that $10-20 that people put in, move it just
well, that's
inch it
what
a little
these
closer, and that's
mechanisms
amazing.
have shown what the power of people really is.
Crowdfunding.
Social media has empowered that process. The internet has created that process. So it really has given power to the people. We can change anything we want by sparking the interest, using these mechanisms to make it happen. It's really great.
So
Fantastic.
it is, and that is why we are drinking a 10-year-old Three Honey Wine, which I want to learn about. And now I think it's important because we have a few different Three Honey Wines that we're going to open today.
We do.
And you already opened and shared one, which is a very important step in our growing as a winery. You made that before we moved here.
Correct.
That
I think
was,
that was 2011 or 2012.
yeah. And the one we're drinking that is the Three Honey Wine was made in 2013.
2013.
I think this is 2011. I'm pretty sure it's on the
2011.
box. Yeah.
I think so.
And then we have here the current
Current
version. And there's a little difference. I noticed this one has some color to it, which is interesting because our current version is clear, which is always how I remember our Three Honey. And you were talking
It's
about
always lightest,
trying to
very light
understand
color.
where we got some of that color.
Well, I went back to my notes just prior to the presentation tonight, and I'm quite confused by going back through my own notes, trying to be a good scientist and document everything. I
You
made
had a lot
two
going on your
different.
plate. You had to move an entire winery from the
You should
basement
see
to.
all the different wines I was making and what I was taking notes on about. It was
You're still
just-
doing that
it was
today.
very
You
complicated.
just have better tools.
Lots of things spinning and happening all at once. Anyway, I made two different batches of 2013 Three Honey Wine and Three Honey Gold, 4 different versions of Kiwi wines, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm not quite sure if this was the batch of 2013 Three Honey that was made early in the season or later in the season once we were here. I suspect it was the earlier one because then we would have it in bottles and we could put the labels on it. Although I don't know when we printed these labels and decided to do this. So it could have been. It could
We
have been the
wouldn't have
second.
printed those labels until the spring. Because we would have had to.
Right, but I wouldn't have been bottling this until a year. All my notes are, my early version of 2013 wasn't bottled until the fall of 2014, even though I made it in the spring. And back then we were considering different bottle sizes. The Three Honey Wine was very popular, so we started putting it in 750 mils. So we had standard full-size bottles, but they were more expensive because these skinny little bottles are reasonably priced, but if you double them, then the price seems quite high for a regular bottle of wine. So anyway, I had some dark honey that went in to the 2013 vintage.
That's gotta be the one.
It's darker.
Darker.
I
yeah.
think that's what it is.
Do you remember it being darker?
I
When
had
you
it
first
in my
bottled it?
notes. I got 4 pails from this guy down in Massachusetts.
I remember we drove around New Hampshire.
Oh, well, I was trying to
going
get
into
honey from all over the
apiaries
place.
in
Yeah.
the middle of nowhere.
Searching different things. This would be for the second vintage. Is the first time I got honey from Troy Hall, who I get honey from all the time now.
Yeah.
And so this was a mishmash of
So
different stuff.
the reason that's important is, so if you're not aware, late season honey is a darker color.
Oh, is it all is? I knew the
Always.
Japanese knotweed because of our knotmead and all that, but
As
late
it
season?
progresses
Okay.
through the season, in general, it starts
darker.
lighter and gets darker.
it's interesting.
Early season spring honey tends to be light. Like
It's
very
interesting.
light, very clear.
It's not for the same reasons. I'm sure if I thought about it more, I could probably figure out why that is. But it's interesting because late season maple sap is also the darker,
It does
heavier
get
stuff
darker.
too. But it's for different reasons, I'm sure. Also, before I forget, it's really nice with the walnuts
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Thank you for
as
leaving
I'm nibbling.
one walnut for each of us.
I only got one too, for the record,
Oh,
but it was quite lovely.
Bob's the culprit.
Bob's been nibbling.
I didn't have any walnuts.
There were only 3.
Oh, right. I'm going to go back to this one. So this was going to be, and you know what? I want to do this with the Charmat tank. Ding, 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 ding,
Yo.
ding, 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 ding,
What are
ding.
we waiting for?
Well,
Go,
Because-
man, go.
there's a certain amount of space
Oh, I know.
in life.
There he
and
is.
in
He's complaining about,
bottles,
we just
and
get a new warehouse and he's already complaining about space.
I
Well,
know,
I want to
every
make
time.
more different wines.
I've been in that
I had-
warehouse. I know why.
I
he's
had a
complaining.
bottle of this new 5-bar rosé last night.
Oh, I can't wait.
Really good. Maya and I polished that bottle off, and boom! It was
Well, I didn't take my
so
bottle
good.
home today.
It's sitting on my bench, ready for you.
I'm going to take that home.
So, in very tangentially related news, can expect an announcement the next day or so. We're going to do a sale on our sparkling Winnie Rosé for Valentine's Day. The exact details of which we're still working out, but there is a sale coming up on sparkling Winnie Rosé. So if you're interested in a bottle for Valentine's Day, it's a good Valentine's wine, I would say.
It's a very popular
Very
wine.
good Valentine's wine. So that'll
How
be there.
exciting.
Because
Yes,
as we phase out that one, we'll be having our extra sparkly.
Oh, but see, now
extra
you've ruined it.
sparkly.
Who's going to want to buy the wine on
Oh
sale
no, it's
when
still
they
so
know?
good. The other one is still so good. I don't think I've actually always, when I talk about our sparkling wines, I've always kind of loved that our sparkling wines were at a slightly less
Mhm.
carbonation. I think
You're
that's
correct.
really nice.
A lot of people really
It's
appreciate
I have a
that.
hard time drinking champagne a lot of the time because it's just so bubbles. It's like all I taste is fizzle.
Bubble.
Yeah.
It's bubble and fizzle, and it's nice to have just a light bit of carbonation. So that's a wonderful wine.
So,
So that was like a commercial that you just did.
that was.
You did a commercial for an upcoming wine.
Yeah.
I like that. We're doing commercials now.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. So actually, yeah. So I want
The
the
marketer
direct.
and all.
I
What was
know,
the
it's
so
good.
the green bottle there? That was the
So
sparkling.
the green bottle. So the green bottle.
What is that?
What
green bottle?
year?
No, the green bottle was.
11.
So
Oh.
2011
Okay.
was great vintage.
Look at the
of
color there.
Three Honey
Much
Wine.
lighter.
Totally different.
Oh, that was all early season honey.
That's cloudy
Three
too.
different choices.
There's a good reason why it's cloudy, and you're going to explain that.
So yeah, so
Oh, it does. It's
the way you
sweeter.
make champagne, real champagne,
It is.
is you ferment
Tell you why.
free-run juice from grapes, and
We're going to. She just noticed it's sweeter,
it is sweeter.
which is
Yeah,
important.
that's very important too. Yes. So the way you make a real champagne is you pick your grapes when they're ripe, crush them, run off the juice, and ferment that. And then when it's done fermenting, you hit it with a little dosage. Which
In the
is-
bottle.
In the bottle, which is some sugar and some yeast. And then you cap that bottle. And what's supposed to happen, what typically happens if it's done properly, is the yeast eats up that sugar that's in there and converts it into carbon dioxide. It gives the bubbles. In this case, the yeast
No
went
carbon
in, the
dioxide.
sugar went in, and the yeast did nothing.
It just went to sleep.
And so you end
Which
up
is why
with a
it's
wine.
sweeter.
You
Yeah.
end up with a wine that's a little cloudy from the yeast and a little sweet from the sugars that were not consumed.
So would there be? Is there
And
like
you
sediment
had
down
one
there? It's
that
hard to
worked.
see.
There was.
When we get to the bottom, you think there's a
Oh, it's been shaken
There's
up from carrying it.
okay,
But if you
but there's
would-
still probably a
there's
bit
a
down in
layer
there.
of
Yeah.
sediment in the bottom of that bottle, which is the
So
dosage settled at
if-
the bottom.
When we finish it later on, we'll see that.
Yeah,
It'll
it'll be
get
there.
cloudier
You'll
at
get
the
it in
bottom.
your glass, it'll get cloudier.
Mhm.
The one bottle, and I'm so bummed that you didn't get to try this.
Oh, I'm happy you guys had
Once it got
That was
open
great.
though, Gerald and I couldn't help but
Of
finish
course
it.
not.
But there was one bottle there. I think you did 3 or 4 cases.
If that. It could have
Well-
been only one case.
No. I
You have
still
it all.
have a case left.
Okay, you have it all.
I have a case left. I've been storing it in my cellar. Yeah. So and we keep opening them at different times, and they have yet to produce another sparkling one. But for whatever reason, one bottle that we opened many years ago popped big time. Boom! The pop came off, and the bubble came out, and we had a full on, and it
Champagne
was
experience.
brilliant. It was brilliant. That's why I always look forward to someday when you repeat that, either through Charlotte or through this method.
traditional
But,
method.
So here's the question from Karen: what happened? Like what
I
what
think
can
you
cause
know.
it? Was she asked, is the yeast dead? Why was it that the yeast didn't do what we intended
Well,
it to do?
it's oftentimes with a true champagne, they'll pick the grapes before they're fully ripe, or they're using grapes that grow in a region that does not produce that much alcohol, maybe 11 or 12%. And yeast that get into higher alcohol levels, 13 or 14%, struggle more. I didn't do that. I made my Three Honey Wine the way I wanted to make it, and it ended up being 13.5% alcohol. The yeast I may not have used enough yeast or yeast nutrient or had the conditions the right way that the yeast could do their magic.
You also surmised, I remember back then, to correct me, I could be wrong, but I remember you telling me at one point that you made this wine from a finished Three Honey.
Right.
That had a sulfite addition put into it before you bottled it. So you
if I
had
did that, then
actually,
there wasn't a chance. And
I think you
Yeah.
said that to me one day.
I
That
may have done
it
that.
dawned on you that you had completed a finished wine, and you had already given that sulfite addition, which we do to almost all our wines
Right.
to help protect them in the bottle.
Right.
And that sulfite is intended to kill the yeast. So you didn't realize
Oh.
that.
Right. So sulfur levels, free SO2 levels will impede yeast from doing their thing.
Which is how we protect the wine. That's
Which
why
is
it protects the
how
wine.
it's normally, there's some sulfur that's developed in any natural fermentation, and then winemakers will often add a small amount. The French didn't
To
even
kind
know
of
they were doing
stabilize
this
it.
for centuries. But when they were storing their barrels, they always took a chunk of the mineral sulfur and burned it to create sulfur dioxide gas in the barrel before they stored it before the next use. They were adding sulfite to their wines. They had no idea, but that's what they were doing, and that's why
That
their
sounds
wines
pretty
would work
intentional,
out.
but maybe they just didn't realize.
Well, no, it
why.
was intentional to protect the barrel. It wasn't necessarily
Ah.
understood that that was also contributing to the wine.
Yeah, it was also helping
Okay.
protect the wine. So you're right, Bob. I think that I did realize that afterwards. Another one of those mistakes as I stumbled my way through winemaking, trying to figure this out. So that bodes well because I'd like to take our new vintages of Three Honey and either do a traditional method or send them off to Brian at Flag Hill and have him use his high pressure specialized tank like we're doing for the Cirque du Strawberry and the Rosé and soon the Crabapple.
It would be lovely to,
make
sparkling Three Honey would be great.
It really
So,
would.
so, I,
We
so
used
I'm,
to do
thinking,
it.
I'm thinking about Geraldine here. So, obviously, we all know,
I think
and
about
I
her
will
all
share
the
again
time.
that he's so sweet. That Three
Especially
Honey
in
is
Three
Geraldine's
Honey,
favorite
right?
wine, and a bottle of Three Honey is wonderful because we have it in the 375 milliliter, which is a perfect single serving Geraldine size. But I wonder if Three Honey was normally bottled in the standard bottle size, if that would mean Geraldine's serving size would double, or
You're mistaken. This is not the perfect Geraldine serving
that's one
size.
glass.
oh, it's not.
No, she would much prefer the.
She would prefer the full bottle. Okay. So it'll be great if it's back in 750 milliliters.
Well,
I do
We
remember
also
having
made-
what was it, the
Yeah.
the spring, not spring.
Rebel
there was
Rebel.
spring in session, but there was a
Rebel,
a
right?
summer in session.
Summer in session. That's coming back.
I remember
actually.
having that,
That wasn't.
which
with
was
honey, though,
a
was it?
sparkling
Was that Three Honey?
honey.
I thought it was Rebel.
It was
Rebel. Oh, no,
different
that was-
than, it wasn't just sparkling Three Honey. There was, I think it was a mix of,
blueberry.
is there some blueberry in it? Okay,
So Summer in Session was a blueberry Three Honey blend, which is coming back this summer.
that's wonderful.
the way.
What was Rebel
Oh.
Rebel?
That was a kiwi honey blend.
Oh,
double carbonated.
but didn't you at one point do a session mead?
3 of them. Spring in
Yeah,
Session,
there's-
Fall in Session, and Summer in Session.
Yeah.
No, but it was a straight mead. Didn't you
Nope.
do one that was a straight mead?
No, but what you're remembering is when we first bought our bright tank,
Mhm.
we released 3 champagnes, sparkling wines.
Oh,
We did a kiwi, we
that's
did
right.
a Three Honey, and we did a crab
a
apple.
sparkling Three Honey. Yeah, I remember
And
that.
we did the sparkling Three Honey,
No, I haven't done it since.
and we haven't
It'd
done
be
it
great to have some of those. I think, the sparkling, I really like the sparkling session meads. They're nice and light. They're very
Well,
summery,
they're lower
easy
alcohol
drinking.
too. You
And
take
I
one of
think it's-
these, you throw a bunch of champagne bubbles into
Yeah.
it, and drink a bottle of that. That's a
It's
party right there.
And I think it's
Yeah.
another-
It's all over. You are
you know,
dancing on the table.
It's another impetus for getting a canning line, because I think a session mead is such a sort of no-brainer for in a can.
Oh yeah.
I think those are just
the challenge that we had, and
lovely.
the reason that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we did the sparkling Three Honey Wine, which was terrific. I really enjoyed it. But our meads don't sell at the same rate that some
That's
of our other
true.
wines do.
Though I do
So
think
we
a
sat that wine
session
sat
meads
around a long time.
somehow they seem to be a little more approachable. I don't know.
Well,
They're
The ones that I've had,
They're
they're lower
approachable,
alcohol.
but they're mead.
They're
they're-
easier to drink. The ones I've had are often, they're not super sweet, or they come off as a little less sweet because of the carbonation kind of lightening things
Right.
up a little bit. So even though they are sweet, they're not syrupy sweet. So they're they're better.
Ours
Yeah.
wasn't sweet, but
Yeah.
it's not that. It's that
That's true. Mead is
Well, it's
still
also-
a little
there's
less.
a
it's also-
smaller percentage of the
That's right.
customers that come
Yep.
through that door are looking for mead.
Mhm.
It's a much smaller group. You're right. It is very approachable, and people who like mead loved it.
Yep.
But there isn't that many
That's
people
true.
coming through
Yeah.
the door looking for mead. And not only that, we complicate things by being a winery. Most people don't
Yep.
think of us as a meadery, even though we do have many different meads.
Yeah, I do love the folks that come in looking for mead.
They're fun.
They're a fun group.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're because it is a more niche offering. You get a little nerdy and quirky about it, and it's fun. I need something in my glass. I'd like to have the current Three Honey.
Try that.
You
as
hear how
compared
she
to
said
what
that
we've
she
got.
needs.
I need it.
She
Yeah.
needs
I
it.
need it.
I want to try after having these two older honey wines. I can't wait to try the new
Try
one.
the other one. That's what I'm on. It's
I'm
fun
gonna- I'm
because
gonna-
there's been a progression for me. Every year things are a little different. Work through techniques and approaches.
Your wines
sources
get
of
better
honey.
every year.
Every year.
Well, see what you think of that.
I'm going to jump in from the audience. This was, back early on, but the comments that we did get from people letting us know, Karen is drinking a Merlot from a local winery, which is
Oh,
fun.
Great.
Let us know specifically, Karen, if you're still on and hear this, where you're at and what wineries are around you.
Winery?
Yeah.
We'll
And then
spread some love for
There
some
is
Christine
local wineries.
has some Winnie Rosé, and Priscilla is sad to say that she doesn't have any Hermit Woods in her glass because it's in the cellar and stairs are forbidden right now. She's still healing up from her knee,
we're
but
so sorry,
getting
Priscilla.
along. Can't wait till recovery gets
Priscilla,
better and you
sorry.
can take a trip up here and visit us, Priscilla. But that's what other folks are drinking tonight. So I'll take this moment too to say thanks to several of the people tuning in tonight and our club members. It was wonderful to see so many people on Friday night for our club member annual
Oh, that
party.
was great. What
Always a great
event.
time.
That was
nice,
a great
nice
night.
to see people.
Thank you
Yeah.
for coming
And
out.
it was
Yeah,
great
thank
because
you.
we had to reschedule from right before Christmas. We had the party planned and then there was a snowstorm and we had to reschedule. And I think actually looking at the names that were sort of RSVPing, I think we actually ended up with a pretty different crowd than what was going to be there originally. So it's a shame that the folks that were going to come originally couldn't make it, but also great that there were still lots of people that could make
I had a lot
it.
of comments from people who were here preferring January.
Nice.
They
So,
said, during the December month,
It's
they're
so crazy. There's
busy
so
with
much going on.
family
mhm.
and parties and different events. They're like, this was great.
So let's poll the audience. If you would prefer that we hold our annual holiday club Christmas party in December or in the first 2 weeks of January.
These folks get to decide right now.
That's
Yes.
true.
They're,
Well,
they're,
and I
they're a
think in general,
majority.
it'd be great if we did, we do a winter gathering in January and then another one in, I don't know,
Well, that's
Well, we
exactly
could do it
right.
every
That's what we were
month.
thinking. Why not
we should do
have
couple
a
every
of
month.
years.
summer?
A summer one
Every
over
month.
at the garden.
Well,
Well, we get together every
start working
Monday.
upstairs?
No, I didn't say that.
You can start running the
If
thing?
we're gonna have things
You're gonna
every
start
month, I gotta
organizing,
make more
right?
wine.
He's going to have to start organizing this, right?
Yeah, that's true.
He's
Yeah,
going
if
to
you
do it
wanna
every
that.
month.
You don't want that.
Oh, so from Karen, the winery is Paradise Hills in Wallingford, Connecticut.
Oh, excellent. I have not been there. I hope I get to someday.
Gary has a vote for January.
Vote
Gary,
for
you were on
January.
the list either time anyway.
Gary was here.
Gary was
Gary
gonna
was
be-
here. Gary, and I have
was
to
fun
tell you,
hanging out
Gary,
with Gary and
and Paula, Geraldine was just thrilled that you were here. She had such a wonderful time sitting at your table and
Yeah, Maya
sharing
and
wine with
Gerald
you.
sat there with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That was nice.
great. Yeah, Steve and I were chatting about it last night. He said he had a great time. It's always fun being here, and he loves getting the chance to be there with my mom and our good friends. He knows that he knows a couple people and he can
Yeah.
sit at a table. But we also talked about how it was fun. The way our tables are set up, you had lots of couples, but we have tables of 4, so we had
People were meeting people.
two groups of 2 would sit
Yeah.
at a table together and get to know each other, and
Right.
that was really fun.
That was a lot of fun. That was a great bash.
It's always fun to see our club members and
Travis
all
nailed
that.
it on the food.
The food was
Yeah.
fantastic,
Fantastic.
as always, and the wine, of course. We had some ancient wines from
Yeah, we had some old-
early
that's right.
days. A
Oh, so that's a
2012
good
Petit
thing.
Blue
Oh yeah, finish that. And keep going.
and a 2012 Hermitage,
Yep.
correct? And a 2012
15
15 Hermitage?
Yep.
Okay.
15
And a
Hermitage.
2012 Hermitano? Is it called?
13.
13 Hermitano.
It's
Which
so
and we
I
had
shouldn't
the
continue. Why
barrel
don't you talk about
aged
this?
Lake House White, which we've tasted on this show before. We did an episode on Lake House White and tasted that fantastic barrel-aged version of Lake House White
Where do I get that barrel-aged Lake House White?
in the winery.
You gotta know
Now that was a
Got to know somebody.
You gotta know
well,
the people.
it's a club member only, I believe, because it's sort of
Sure.
in the library wine category. So if you are a club member, added to the list
There's
of
a bottle
library wines
downstairs
available
if you
right
want
now
one.
I gotta
is
get one of those.
a
I know exactly where it is.
2015 Hermitage
Yep.
and the 2020 limited edition barrel-aged Lake House White.
Yeah,
So
100% barrel aged.
we'd have to go back and find that episode, but there was normally when you make Lake House White, you do add a little bit of oak. You often use this,
So-
this oak
So
staves.
historically, I used to keep it in stainless steel. I could stir up the leaves, and I put light toast French oak into the
Staves.
Yeah.
staves into the stainless steel tank.
Staves
To
are just
infuse-
wooden, like
Oak.
Stick, like a long
Right,
stick,
long
kind of
sticks,
suspended down in.
Wooden
Yeah.
sticks that are toasted. And I think 4 years ago, I think 18 was the first time I happened to have a barrel. And we had just bought some light toast French oak barrels. So I'm like, ooh, I had to put some of this Lake House White directly in a barrel, in an aged barrel, see how that is. And I've been working that in. So every vintage since then, Lake House White is made part in barrels and part tank. And I don't put oak staves in the tank anymore.
So you know what I find is it's kind of interesting is that every time you come up with this fresh idea to put a wine in a barrel, you usually stick with it. We started with probably 40% of our wines in barrel and 60% in stainless. Because you've always been a little nervous about oak anyway. You're not a big fan of oak
well,
flavor.
a lot of my barrels are neutral.
I know.
That's what I like.
But still, you still were very cautious. Plus, we didn't have space for a lot of barrels, so you were cautious about taking up the space. You wanted to save the barrels for.
Oh,
key
by the way, I
wines.
need to buy some more barrels.
I figured you did. Yeah. So we'll have to save up. So, but anyway, as you and I, we've talked about this before, but I love it. Every time I see one of your wines go in the barrel, almost always, if not always, they come out of the barrel tasting better.
Yeah, they do.
And you usually,
I don't. There's never been one that went into barrel. Well,
there's some that really don't need to go into barrel. Rosé doesn't need to go into barrel. Crab apple doesn't need to. Although, yeah.
I have put crab apple in the barrel, but I've never put rosé in the barrel. Never
Isn't
had.
there, was
Because
it rosé that you?
Rosé happens very late in the season because the Kingston black apples on all my barrels are full. So that's why it's never gone in there.
So yeah, so we do have that barrel-aged Lake House White and the 2015 Hermitage. We have a little less than a case of each available to
That's
club
it.
members.
Yeah.
I think that's all we've got, about a case of each. So if
Maybe
you come
less than
in,
case.
yeah. Well, a
Less
few
one
people
bottle
bought them
right
on Friday evening. A few people bought some.
No,
I
won't take any. I
I-
have some in my cellar. So
I
don't
will
worry.
admit I
No, you
did.
don't.
They're there.
I did get myself a bottle of the
I
Hermitage.
know where they are.
You
I
know
did
where
take.
they are.
I did get myself a bottle of the Hermitage. But that
So you can
completes.
blame her if you
Yeah, just
don't find one in
It
the
completes
winery.
my Hermitage lineup, Bob.
The Hermitage Queen.
I am lined up. I now have 2011, 2012, 2014, 15, and 18. So the only one I'm
Wow.
missing is 17. So
We're
if
coming
either
to your
of you,
house for a.
we're gonna have a Hermitage party at some point.
17, yeah.
So if either of you somewhere there is a bottle of 17 Hermitage.
There is a bottle of 17 around. I think there must be. Although
Yeah, that's what I brought to EWE. I just packed it up when we moved it.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I got a 17. for
So
you.
that's the one I'm missing, and then I have because you told me you didn't make it in 13
Wait
and
till
you
you have
didn't make it in
20.
16 or 19.
No, 20.
Is there no
Wait till
19?
you have 20. No, there's 19.
19 and 20.
I mean,
I'm gonna- I'll
I haven't
keep
had
adding to
19
it
I
until
haven't
we
had
have this
19
party,
in a year.
but-
It's been in a bottle sitting in our warehouse for a year. The 20 got bottled. Whatever happened there, I don't know what happened there, but it was just.
Yeah,
it went in
always
the
fun
barrel and
to.
everything came together.
Well,
that was the first time.
there's-
That was the first time I did a co-ferment, where everything was done.
Oh, instead of the
fertile
individual barrels,
instead of
yeah,
individual, and I've been doing that since.
all of your wines can
So the
are getting
21 and
better every
22
and
time.
better every year.
We just had the tasting with. We have a collaboration with Stoneface, and they came to visit to sort of check in on that. Stoneface Brewing, yes, great group. This is the beer that came out of the barrel that you picked.
That's right. So this is a barley
Un-
wine.
unrelated-
that
another
Stoneface
unrelated
just
tangent for the
released.
evening.
Oh wait, we have a commercial.
We have a commercial?
Okay. What do we have to do? Like a disclaimer, like sponsored content
You just go.
Hashtag ad.
Yeah, sure.
So we've mentioned this. We've alluded to this a
Hashtag
little.
ad.
You see this anyway.
This
So
little speak.
so we've
Okay.
mentioned this a little bit before, and it's not related to the rest of our topic for the evening, but that's fine.
It's a commercial.
That's fine.
It's a commercial.
It's a commercial break. Hashtag.
We interrupt
We
our programming.
interrupt our
to bring you
programming.
sponsored
Yeah.
content from.
Hermit Woods.
So we've been working with Stoneface over the past several months. Ken's met with them several times, and we've done some exchanges with them. They took some barrels from us that had been aging. What, Red Scare?
Elderberry.
Elderberry
and Red Scare.
Red Scare, and they're making
And-
what I'm sure will be a
Dark
fantastic
sours.
dark sour beer that will be coming out. And then we took barrels from them, a amazing barrel. We've talked about this a little bit
Maple
before.
rye whiskey
It was
barrel.
a sugar maple barrel
Yep.
that had been aging this fantastic
beer.
barley wine.
Yep.
And even after they had used it, wasn't it aged? I think it was originally used for
It was a
whiskey.
whiskey, yeah.
It was a whiskey barrel,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
a
they
whiskey
used
barrel.
it for beer after
For
that.
this beer.
And then we got it. So we're on the third iteration of these barrels.
Yep.
And even by the time we got it, these barrels were still oozing
Yeah.
maple sugar out the corners. You could pick off little drips of maple candy on the outside.
They've stopped doing that.
Oh,
That was the first
But-
couple of
But
months.
It was
the commercial is about the fact
anyway,
that
so we got those
It's like a
barrels,
Super Bowl
and
commercial.
we've
Gotta
been
keep it on track.
we've
60
been
seconds
aging some Red Scare in those barrels.
Right.
So in the coming months, Stoneface will be releasing a dark sour beer with
May.
in May.
May.
And then
is
we'll
the
be
timing.
releasing
In May.
in May a
Barrel aged.
A
They cost red
maple,
and they-
a
and,
maple rye whiskey barrel, barley wine aged Red Scare. And we will also be doing a rye imperial stout barrel that has been aging Petite Blue Reserve.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
So we tried.
Yeah, so we've got some
we
funky
tried
things coming from
those with Dan
Stoneface.
on whatever day he was here, Friday, in the middle of our
Yeah.
move warehouse.
Yeah.
I bet that was
Was
I bet
it-
that was a welcome
It
respite
was a
for
welcome
you.
respite.
Yeah.
Yes.
But actually, that also brings up another thing.
Another
Can I do-
commercial.
Another commercial. Gosh, should I spread this
Hashtag
out?
ad
Hashtag ad.
squared.
Upcoming
I
events.
thought this is what she was going to be
So,
talking about. She went
yeah.
off on
Well,
this
we've
one.
been working with Stoneface so much over the past months. So this upcoming weekend is pond hockey, and it's one of the biggest events in Meredith for the weekend. Always a great time. They have had to move it from the main bay here in downtown up to Wakawan this year, but that's
Yeah.
fine. Still happening.
Half a
Wakawan's a
mile
great
away.
place for it. Everyone's still going to be in town. Still happening. And on Saturday, we are having a whole bunch of local breweries here giving out free samples of beer, including Stoneface. So Dan will be here,
And
the owner
I have
himself.
a feeling people are gonna want to be indoors a bit.
It is going to be.
A little
I
chilly.
saw the high for Saturday is 2 degrees.
Yes.
I saw it.
So Travis
Where
will
are
be.
we going to be serving
uh,
beer?
The beer is
Right
going to be
here in the
served
warm
inside
loft.
here in the loft.
Travis
But,
will be
I have
freezing
a
his
feeling
little
Travis
buns
will
off.
be outside cooking us Italian sausages out on the grill, and we'll be inside tasting free beer. We've got Twin Barns is going to be here, Concord Craft is going to be here, Reckless is going to be here, and Stoneface.
Four breweries.
And I'm not sure who's coming from from Concord and Twin Barns, but Reckless and Stoneface, we've got the owners themselves coming to give out their samples. So that's
Oh, I
pretty
can't
cool.
wait. Yeah.
We've got
I-
some great people coming,
Right.
and
That's
so
a
if you're
great
in
lineup.
town or able to get to town this weekend, it's going to be a fun time all around town, but especially here at Hermit Woods. We may be a winery, but
Hey,
We
we got the
always
beer
say,
too.
I don't discriminate against any of the alcohol.
Cheers to that.
Cheers
Yeah,
to
I mean,
that.
this beer's bottle is empty.
Yes. Why is that?
We're drinking wine. Karen's a good New Englander. Karen says that's her kind of weather. Nice.
Really?
Oh, good. And
Karen, cheers to you.
Minus
Boy,
18,
Yeah.
huh?
minus 18.
That's
Brave
what it's gonna
soul.
be.
and
Saturday
Matt and
night.
Lynn have joined us. Matt and Lynn have joined the crowd.
So sorry, Matt and Lynn, you couldn't be here for our
Yes, we missed you
party.
for sure.
We would miss you, but we've decided we're having another one this summer. So
That's
we're
what's
gonna have you
happening. Yeah.
back.
We're having
Regular
fun.
regular club
Can
parties.
we have
He
a
wants to
par-
have one every
Can we
month.
have a party at my house?
No.
Can we just have a party, not
Nope.
call it Hermit Woods?
You can't. I'm
I
sorry.
can't have a party at my
Yes,
house
The laws do not allow it.
because I have a
So
winery?
for legality reasons, but I feel like it's nice to let people know anyway
It's a great
that
idea.
Ken would
We'd
love to have you all
it.
over,
Could
but
I just not
in-
mention a date and a time
Nope.
and not have people show up at my house where there might be a bunch of wine and
Nope.
beer? And I can't do that.
Nope.
I can't say a particular date
Nope.
and time.
I'm sorry. You can't.
Ken would love to welcome you all out
What
to
if
his
Maya
house.
did it?
If-
What my dog
if
said?
there's
What
a
if
Can
anything-
workaround-
I just help you with this? You can have a party at your house anytime you want.
Okay.
But if we say anything about it here,
Okay.
you've then broken the law.
Okay. So we won't mention it here.
If there's
we
any way to-
You
did
can invite
a
people to your house anytime you want.
Random bounced off IP.
Maya can invite
address
people to her
thing.
house, but if you mention it here, you're breaking law, which is completely fine.
Okay.
We want to follow the laws. We don't
Quite
want
simple.
We won't be breaking any rules.
We won't be breaking any
but
rules.
I think the party's going to happen at my house. This might.
You
backyard.
think a party, not the party. A party might happen at your house.
It's going to be the.
But we're not going to
party.
talk about it here because
We
you know
won't
what
talk about
that
it here.
means?
We're not talking about it here.
We're not talking about it here.
We're
No
not talking about
parties.
it.
So he's a rule breaker, you know. He
And
likes
you
to-
are. I feel like you're a rule breaker too, Bob. But you're really good about remembering when there are official rules
Well,
that
he
must
wants
be
to be able to
followed.
keep
because-
breaking
I want to
rules.
keep
He
the
doesn't
job
wanna
that I
be-
have.
Yeah, we want to keep doing what
Me
we can
too.
for
Me
everyone.
too.
All of
I'm
that.
fine with that. We're not
So-
mentioning that party.
So as we're winding down, we've got about 5 minutes left here.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
It's been an hour.
It has.
Wow.
See what
So
3
what do
Honey
we
does?
think
It's sort
of
magical.
these-
It's
Oh, it is magical
like taking,
stuff.
as Geraldine says sometimes, like
So what'd
taking
you think of
mushrooms
the
or
latest
something.
vintage?
It's my favorite one of the three, which is interesting because 3 Honey ages really well.
Right.
And I've had some of your early 3 Honey wines that have aged for 10 years that are just mind blowing. I don't remember. I think it was a 2011. It's just as clear as this.
Yeah.
Or clearer, which
The
is
11
really,
was
really
my
good.
favorite vintage.
Yeah.
I've
And this is as good as it,
I
easily.
need the Kickstarter
Honestly.
again.
it's not quite there.
Well, it's hard to say. It's not side by side, but this is pretty darn good.
It's interesting because even this, I think, I'm amazed that this, the oldest one, it doesn't taste.
Well, you got a problem here. This
Old.
has got sweetness to it. It's also got
Mhm.
yeast in there that's been affecting the flavor of
Right.
this by sitting on those yeasts
Yeah.
for 10 years. This is a different wine
But even-
than anything else here.
Even this 2013, this is 10 years old.
Right.
And it doesn't
You wouldn't know it.
taste aged
No.
to me. It
Right.
tastes still very light, very
Honey
easy
wine
drinking.
holds up really well.
But I feel like there have been other honey wines that we've tried. We've tried other meads that have been aged, and I think they have changed more. There are some that we've tasted that definitely tasted more aged.
That has sort of a squeeze it every drop. Well done. The only mead that I've found that peaked out and went down or changed in character from what it was intended was the Metheglin, the 3 spice mead.
Oh, I don't.
There's
Yeah.
also
So
some
the
of the spice.
fresh
The only bottle I've seen
spice-
of that was one that went corked. It hadn't been sorted right or something. I know.
You had one that was corked?
Yeah, there's one I tried to gift a bottle to my sister for Christmas a couple years ago, and
Okay.
it was funky.
I mean, we
Something
use
went
natural
wrong.
corks in all of our meads, so unfortunately, 1 in 100 or 2 in 100 bottles
Will be corked.
will be
Mhm.
ruined from
Yeah.
the cork that's there. And happens to all good
Mhm.
wines, unfortunately. But it is
But yeah,
it is something I think on the horizon to sparkle some of this at high pressure.
that'd be
Well,
Because
wonderful.
that would just be
For sure.
delightful.
We need to do that.
And I can't wait to see what Deb would do from a label standpoint.
Mm.
Oh, boy.
You
A
can
3
picture
Honey
like
label. If
I'm
we-
picturing like
If
just
we
the
just cut her loose
bees.
like the Cirque du Strawberry.
I feel you could run with so many cool. There's so much cool graphics and imagery around bees and honeycomb and
And it's a history, the
And sparkling,
honeymoon,
yeah.
the whole aspect of mead. I love mead. That's my favorite kind of wine.
they're all wonderful.
We have squandered another hour.
Squandered.
Not a squander
Shame
at
on
all.
you.
Squander implies waste.
Shame on you.
Using all the wrong language today. I'm shaming people and I'm squandering.
You've done well. So
What let you out?
what are the
today?
conclusions? So we have to summarize. If you loved this show and haven't liked and subscribed, you should.
You should please and
and
share.
share it with
Right.
your friends, share it with
This
your
is where it
family.
happens at the
Spread
end.
it around. Come visit us here at Hermit Woods.
Yeah, please.
Especially like during the week this time of year. It's slow. It's quiet. It's
Great
honestly
time.
it's the best
We
time
have some
to come
great
for
week
a tasting.
specials too, right?
We
Not that
do.
quiet
Yeah,
downstairs. We
there are
got the music going.
specials.
What's Monday? Monday's special.
Monday we've got a pizza and wine combo. If you
Pizza
get any
and
one
wine?
of the pizzas on our menu, you get your glass of wine for just $2.
That's a
On
deal.
Tuesdays, we
Right.
do 2-for-1 tastings. And I'm going to make an extra plug for Tuesdays because Tuesdays is one of the few days that generally I'm actually on the floor at the winery and I get to do the tastings.
Oh, great.
So
It's fun, isn't it?
I have a lot of fun
Yeah.
getting
It's
through
the
tastings
best
again.
time, right
So
there.
we do 2-for-1 tastings on Tuesdays, and then Wednesdays is Wine Down Wednesday. You get 50% off full crafts. So
Right.
fantastic weekday
Come on
specials.
in.
And it's quiet. It's a great time. We get to actually spend a little more time interacting with our customers. We're not bustling around the way we sometimes are on crazy weekends.
And
And you can
If
always
you-
come downstairs, just so you know.
if you have not looked at our calendar for the next month,
February is
and a half,
crazy. You'd think winter
it
was our
is
quiet
packed.
time.
We
but
are
we've got,
so busy this
we've
month.
got, so we have pond hockey this weekend. We've got fishing derby the weekend after. We have a Thursday
4
night.
more breweries at Fishing Derby.
four, maybe even 5 breweries for fishing derby coming for the same sort of event. We have anime is coming this Thursday. We've got What About Bob is showing next
Movie
a
nights.
week from tomorrow
every
night. We've
other
got movie
Tuesday.
nights.
We have
Yeah, so Thursday
comedy
night,
night.
We have the Valentine's
Valentine's
chocolate event.
tasting on the 12th.
Comedy on March 5th.
Comedy on March 5th. We've got a special benefit concert for Ukraine on the 19th. So that's a really special event. You'll be seeing some more publicity
Good.
about that, but it's already posted on our calendars. But always you can go to our website and check out the events tab. It's February's
There's a
packed.
lot happening. There's so much going on.
It will
this
be a
month.
busy time. We've got, and people have school vacations coming up the last 2 weeks of February for both Mass and New Hampshire. So those tend to be busy weeks for us.
Oh yeah.
We've just, you'd think this was the quiet time of year, but there's a lot going
But
on.
this,
There's a
that's
lot going on.
kind of the goal.
That's the goal. We got to
keep
keep
it
it
fun.
going.
Keep it fun.
Yeah. So that's all the good
So-
times. So we're out of time, but thanks everyone for tuning in as always.
Thank
Cheers.
you
We
all,
look forward
and
to
a
Mondays.
Special thank you to everybody that
Who donated to our
contributed
Kickstarter.
Thanks to our
campaign.
Kickstarter. We hope we see you all here. It'd be great to meet the people that are on these bottles, especially for
Over there.
for you folks. You knew these people. You
I
remember
know
that
a lot
time.
of it. I know
I'd
a lot
love
of,
to
I
meet
just read
some of
through
these
them all.
folks
I
that
know a lot
are
of
on
those
these
names.
bottles. But there are even some bottles on here that, or some names on that bottle that I recognize, and which is incredible that these people have been supporting us from the very
Yeah.
beginning, and they're still around and still
So if your
Fantastic
name is on this
stories.
bottle,
come in.
come in. There's a gift
Let us know.
certificate waiting for you.
Yes.
So
Right
they
here.
end up with a.
A gift
I
certificate.
can't say
they
it, can I?
Yes, you can.
They-
They
There's
get a
no
gift
party,
certificate
There's no.
that they can
bottle of
exchange
wine.
for a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
They can purchase
And
a bottle of wine.
any is this for anybody? The Kickstarter wine is for anybody or just club members?
We have 10 cases of it. I think
So
everybody-
anybody. So anybody in the audience. So whether you're a club member or just a fantastic supporter
it's a
of Hermit
library
Woods, you can buy a bottle of this Kickstarter wine, and we'd love to share the story with us with
And if
you.
your name's on the bottle,
And if your name's on the bottle, let
get
us
a
know.
gift certificate.
You get a
Gold
gift.
star for you.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
We'll see you next
We will
Monday.
see you next week
Talking
for
about something, I'm
something
sure it'll be interesting.
fantastic.
Yeah, what is next Monday?
We'll figure it
know.
out.
Figure it out.
Cheers to that. Figuring it out.
Let's
Cheers to
drink-
figuring
let's
it
drink
out.
Wine next Monday.
Yeah, let's make sure we have wine in our glass.
Especially, always. Always.
I'm never a fan of the fully in ear
Do they work?
buds, but
that
it's
work?
great. I like having only one ear.
Did it
Yeah,
work?
because then you
Yeah.
can hear.
It's nice being
us
able to
and-
hear.
So those were in the kit?
Yeah, I might
That's a
use these
great
more
kit.
often. Yeah,
I've
I
been
think it's
making
better.
that kit
Cool.
for a
What's
while.
the kit?
I've been collecting devices that go from one type of connection to another. That there's probably 50 different versions of
Everything,
ways to
whatever
go
you're
from
looking
a
for,
3-pin
there's
to a
probably an
2-pin to
option.
Oh,
yeah, so that when we're in situations like this, she's able to find the tools that she needs to make it work. Because I have my headset at home.
Yeah, that was great.
Redlined, done.
Did yours actually fully die? Mine was on.
Yeah.
It said 0, but blink was still on. Was yours dead?
no, mine was still
Okay.
alive, but
But that's good. I feel like it's better to kind of fully
we're
spend the
getting
battery.
more use out of
We have
that.
to figure out how to actually use up those half-used batteries.
I think you threw them away.
Eh,
I know.
I feel like just use them in a low pressure situation.
Low pressure, like in a flashlight.
Hmm.
That if you go dark, you go blind. That wouldn't be good.